Right, okay, let's see how this goes then. So, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me? Is that okay? I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Do I need to speak a little bit louder? I'm not too sure, but let me know, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, the East Lancashire Derby, tough one to predict, to be fair. Burnley versus Blackburn Rovers. Kick-off 12:30, and this one is going to be an interesting game because not only is it a derby, but because both sides are going. Great, you can hear me. Thank you. Because both sides are going to try and fight for the promotion zone this season. It's going to be more intense because looking at the table, whoever gets a result out of this will go first place. So I do have some information here. So if Burnley win, then they will go top of the championship by 3 points. If the game ends as a draw, Burnley will be top of the championship by 1 point. But if Blackburn Rovers win, they will go top of the championship by 1 point. So whoever wins this today, or whether it goes as a draw, one of these sides will be first place by the end of the day. Looking at the 5 past fixtures, Burnley have had most of the celebrations, to be fair. They last met in the League Cup on the 23rd of August 2017, where Burnley won 2-0. And then from there, really, it's been dominated by Burnley since 2012, when that was the first time that Burnley had won the derby since 1979. As for the two managers, Vincent Kompany and John Dole Thomason, both of them have come in the summer looking to try and get their teams to the Premier League, for Burnley back to the Premier League after their relegation last season. And so far, that it's not gone too badly for them. They went on a really nice unbeaten run up until the game against Sheffield United, where they just fell apart. And looking at that game, it was set pieces where they needed to work on. And Blackburn Rovers will certainly be looking to get at Burnley doing the set pieces and, trying to expose them from that. Just reading Dan's comment. Okay. So 2010, that is quite a while ago. And I do think in this one, Blackburn will put Burnley under pressure, but I think Burnley having the home advantage, I think they will probably have more of the ball. I think Blackburn, they do pressure sometimes, and so hopefully for them and their fans, they can try and get a result here today. Blackburn, they haven't drawn a game this season so far, but I think in this one, I'm going to go for 1-1 draw. I do think it will be quite an even match. I can't see it being relatively high scoring. Sometimes in derby matches, you have it where there's not a lot of goals, or whether it would be 6 or 7 goals in a game. But I think in this one, to be fair, I wouldn't mind 2 goals. Interesting match to watch. And so hopefully we'll be able to see a good match. But this is a test live stream, and we'll see how this goes. And then we'll move on into the future and see what we can do and improve from there. How have I got a PS4? Of course I have. Who doesn't? To be fair, I've got Xbox and PS4, so not too bad. But let's move on to the lineups, because I did do that in the first attempts, but didn't really work out. So in goal for Burnley, we have got Muric, and then to number 22, who is Vitinho, and then on to number 5, who is Taylor Harwood-Bellis, over to 36, Jordan Beyer, and 29, Ian Matson. That's the defence for Burnley today. And then into the midfield, we've got Jack Cork, who's number 4, and number 24, who is Joshua Cullen. And then over to number 19, Enes Zuri. Hopefully I said that correctly. And number 8, Josh Brownhill, with number 17, Manuel Benson, also playing in that attacking midfield area. And then as for the main striker up front, number 10, Ashley Barnes. Moving on to the subs for Burnley then. Number 15, Bailey Peacock Farrell. Number 3, Charlie Taylor. Number 13, Halil Dervis Golu. Hopefully I said that correctly. If not, then you can correct me. I don't mind. And then over to number 26, Samuel Bastian. Number 7, Johan Berg Gudmundsson, scored a really nice goal against Birmingham City a few weeks ago. And then number 23, Nathan Teller. And number 14, Connor Roberts. Over to Blackburn then. In goal for them, number 1, Thomas Kaminski. Number 30, Jake Garrett. Number 4, Daniel Ayala. Number 5, Dominic Hyam. Number 2, Callum Britton. Number 15, Clinton Mola. Number 6, Tyler Morton. Number 19, Ryan Hedges. Number 27, Lewis Travis. Number 22, Ben Brereton Diaz. Good striker. He's one of the top goal scorers in the league. And then number 9, Sam Gallagher up front for Blackburn Rovers today. As for the subs for them, Ainsley Pears. Number 23, Bradley Dack. Number 16, Scott Wharton. Number 3, Harry Pickering. Number 21, John Buckley. Number 10, Tyrese Dolan. And number 29, Jack Fayle, who scored a goal against West Ham, I believe, in the Cup earlier this week. Let's take a look at some of the comments then. Howard Bellis has done the dirty. He was at Blackburn, then went to Burnley. I see. I didn't know that, actually. It does annoy me when players do that. But it always is quite entertaining when they do score against their former side. Who is your favourite player for Blues? It's a tough one. I think everyone this season seems to have come together and are really trying to fight for the side. If I had to pick a favourite player, I'd have to go John Ruddy, to be honest. He's a good goalkeeper, and he's, we've had some goalkeepers over the years where really they've failed a little bit. I mean, Lee Camp, he had a good first season, but the second season he was just letting in goals here, there, and everywhere. And then Neil Etheridge, he was decent in the first season, and then he unfortunately got COVID, and since then that's affected him. Matej Sarkic, however, though, he was a really good goalkeeper for us on his time from Wolves, wasn't he? Hannibal, he's a good shout, but I think he just gets a little bit too annoyed every now and then. And when I say a little bit annoyed, I mean very annoyed. He's one of those players who can get wound up so easily. And yeah, I don't really like that. I think, look, I understand that players will get annoyed every now and then, but it's every single game he's trying to, cause some attention towards himself. And it just really frustrates me. And at some point he will probably get a red card eventually. But Chong, he's a good player. Last season, he was really good for us, and then he got his injury. And then when he came back, I think his first game was Bristol City, wasn't it, where he scored within the first few minutes. I think this season he's just lacked a little bit. I think, his pace, he is quick, but I just think sometimes his performances can be a little bit low and not what we expect. But I do think overall, all of the players for Blues are decent. I mean, if we're forgetting Jonathan Lecco, of course, who I don't really understand why he's still at the club, but he is, and we've got to accept that, he may be here till the end of the season, but I do think he will go either this season or next season. Yes, the 1st of April, 5-0. I do have that written down somewhere. It was quite a cruel April Fool's joke, wasn't it, from Blackburn Rovers? But maybe we'll see a 5-0 in this game today. You never know. But just as long as we see a few goals, if we have some fun on here, then, that's all I can ask for. And hopefully all of you who view it at the moment, we've got 3 people, which isn't a lot, but thank you to you 3 people. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. The time, 12:21, and 9 minutes until the game kicks off. Kaminski to score last minute winner or equaliser. I think you said in the comments yesterday that you thought he was going to score the winner, didn't you? So, yeah, imagine if Kaminsky did score. I mean, the scenes in the away end, it would have certainly been somewhere where I would have wanted to be. But you never know. You may be correct, and if you do, try and get into the lottery and try and get the correct numbers, because chances are you will. But Friday, I thought it was a game too many for us. You look at the other games which we've played beforehand, and you could see hints that we were quite tired. Against Swansea, we didn't really put in any decent crosses. Luckily, the 2 crosses which we did have, I managed to end up with Scott Hogan or Troy Deeney on the end of them. But I think overall, I thought we were quite fortunate against Swansea to get something. We kept putting pressure on them, but I just thought that overall Swansea were quite unfortunate not to come away with the 3 points. Yeah, well, you never know. But to be fair, I think just as long as Blackburn win for you, then I think you'll be happy. But as a neutral, I'm hoping just to see a good game. I haven't been to Turf Moor. I'm looking forward to when I do go later this season. I did go to the game on Friday night. And I thought overall, we were unlucky once we moved into the second half. First half, I thought we were quite soft. I thought defensively we could have done a little bit better. I thought Troy Deeney, he was unlucky to hit the crossbar. I think it was in the 7th or 8th minute. But I think overall we probably did just about deserve to lose in that one. And I thought overall, Dion Sanderson, he had his chance late on, didn't he, where it was just cleared off the line. I think it was. If that had gone in, I think we could have maybe gone on to get a winner. But unfortunately for us, it didn't go in, and we've just got to live with it. We will have games like that where we won't perform to the expectations that we've had, but hopefully we can, after the World Cup break, we can get back onto our form, which we've been on. I believe that John Eustace is the man to take us forward. At the start of the season, I was thinking, right, okay, we've brung him in, but is this the right time for him? And I do think it was now. Before, I did think that we were going to get relegated, along with quite a lot of the other people who had predicted for us to get relegated. But no, I've been pleasantly surprised by Blues this season. But hopefully things will continue to improve. And, if Paul Richardson and Maxi Lopez do get this deal done, which hopefully they do, then we can build on and try and push for the Premier League in coming seasons. But it's Birmingham City, isn't it? Something's going to happen along the way. But we've got 6 minutes until kick-off. Burnley versus Blackburn Rovers. I've predicted 1-1. We'll see what happens in this one. Hopefully, it'll be an exciting match. Burnley, it was a few months ago, but they did play Blackpool in one of their local derbies there as well. I am watching the game on Sky Sports. I've got it just opposite me. And hopefully we'll be able to have a stable internet connection, because sometimes it just fails. But it's been quite decent over the past months or so. So I thought, why not try it out? And so, yes, Blackburn Rovers fans, they're going to come in their numbers, obviously. It's not really that far to travel for them. But, if Blackburn score, there will be scenes, definitely. And I am hoping to see some scenes today, to be honest. But just as long as we have a good game and hopefully we will see a few goals. Fair play. Did you enjoy the match? Hopefully you did. I thought atmosphere could be a little bit better, but I think that is the issue with St Andrews at the moment. I mean, I think it was QPR where at the end of October, where the atmosphere was really nice, and it was different to what we've had in the past few years. But I think St Andrews at the moment, we need that bottom tier to be filled up, don't we? And hopefully once it does get filled up, we'll be able to get it back to being the fortress that it is. And currently, I do think that we're halfway to being a fortress. Teams coming over to St Andrews, we do make it difficult for them. But, you know, the fans, just the atmosphere, it just dies a little bit. And, you know, you do have some of the sections of fans where they do sing, but around where, you know, I sit as the season ticket, it is quite dull. But hopefully we will see. Well, when you do lose, it's not going to be the greatest game. But to be fair, Diallo's goal, it was. I haven't seen it back. I haven't watched the highlights, and I probably should as the players are walking out. And yeah, well, I thought Diallo's goal, from what I saw, it was nice. It went past John Ruddy. John Ruddy stands no chance, really. But then again, I haven't watched the highlights, so I'm not too sure how far away it was from Ruddy. But it was a decent shot, I thought. And he's on loan from Manchester United, isn't he? And so I'm sure that United will use him in coming seasons. Players are walking out then, and there will be a moment's silence, which, I'm going to do, because it would be disrespectful for me not to do the minute silence. So, yes, but currently it's not the minute silence yet, so I'll keep talking. And to be honest, I'm not going to be too sure when the minute silence is going to start or be over, because I've got the sound on mute. So hopefully I'll be able, I'll get hints from where the camera's panning, but hopefully I won't be talking over the minute silence. But Blackburn, they're going to try and continue to go on with their good form at the moment. Same with Burnley. They lost 5-2 against Sheffield United, as I mentioned earlier, and we'll see what happens. Remembrance Sunday, the minute silence. I think it's a minute silence, minute or two, and we'll get that underway in the next few minutes. But East Lancashire Derby, it's about to happen. It's 12:28, and 2 minutes to go until the game kicks off. I think they're about to do the minute silence now. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it will be silent in the stadium. For the vast majority of the fans, it will be. Some of them just coming in may not realise that it is the minute silence, but yes, it won't be long until that minute silence is done. Let's see who's gonna kick off. The referee just tossing the coin at the moment, and it will be a big match, and certainly both sets of fans will be prepared to get behind their team for this match, the biggest match of both of their seasons. But the minute silence is about to happen now. So remembering those who not only fell in World War One, but those who have fallen throughout a lot of the wars which have happened, and we'll do the minute silence now. Well, there we go. I think I was just a little bit early with the minute silence, but yeah, at least we've paid our respects now. And now Derby Day can officially get underway. The East Lancashire Derby, it is 12:32, and the Derby is about to get underway here. Burnley versus Blackburn, second versus third. Who will win this one? Let's find out. So, here we go. I can't hear the atmosphere at Turf Moor because I've got the sound off, but I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is very loud right now, and I'm sure that around the whole of Burnley you'll be able to hear the sound of the crowd as they kick off. And straight away, Matson tries to have the ball and clears it, and Barnes. And the ball goes out for a throw-in to Blackburn Rovers. And hopefully we'll be able to see a good match in this one. Let's see who will win this one. Blackburn currently sitting in third place. If they beat Burnley, they'll go first place above Sheffield United and Burnley. And if Burnley do lose this match, they will go down to third place and into the playoff zone. But there is only 2 points between first place and third place. And so should be interesting to see who gets the win in this one. And I think I said earlier, the derby would be intense anyway, even if this wasn't the case. But because it is the case, all of a sudden we've got, a real match on our hands. And, there's just that little bit extra added to it. Vincent Kompany, I mean, we don't really have to talk too much about him. We know about him with his playing career. And, he's worked under one of the best managers in the world with Pep Guardiola. He did, he has won quite a few trophies in his time while at Man City. I've just got my notes here. He won 4 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, and 2 English Super Cups, which I'm going to guess is the Community Shield. And so he has won trophies in his time. He knows how to win trophies. As for John Dole Thomason, he has also won a few trophies in his time. With Malmo, I think that's how you say it in the Swedish leagues, he won the Swedish league 2 times. He was Swedish champions. And so he does know how to win titles, although with all respect to them, they're probably not as high quality as the Championship. It's like the Bundesliga, isn't it? Or other leagues where, there is 1 or 2 teams which stand out, and then the rest of them are just, fighting just to see whether they could maybe get something along the way. But, I've managed to find a really interesting fact about John Dole Thomason. And I didn't know this, actually. He was assistant manager of Denmark between 2016 and 2020. So he would have been at the World Cup in Russia. And yeah, when I looked up that fact this morning, I was quite surprised that, it's just gone around the side. Ashley Barnes, the ball is crossed. I wasn't actually watching. I should probably watch the match. But who is it? There you go. We've had a Chris Kamara moment. Josh Brownhill crosses the ball in, and Ashley Barnes just needs to get anything on the ball. And in fact, I do think that a Blackburn player does get something off it. Yes, it is. It's a corner. Josh Brownhill to cross it in. We're in and around 4 minutes played. It's Burnley 0, Blackburn 0, as Benson has the ball. It's crossed in, but no one's there. It's going to go out for a goal kick, and Blackburn Rovers fans certainly enjoy that one. But as I was saying, John Dole Thomason, assistant manager of Denmark between 2016 and 2022, he would have picked up a lot of experience from that. And Denmark certainly were a progressing side between those times. And right now, they're one of the best teams in the world. Probably not the best team, but certainly with their Euro campaign last time, they certainly did impress their country and certainly did inspire their country as well. And I mean, in the qualifying for the World Cup, I think they were unbeaten, weren't they? Or they did something which was quite surprising, because I think they had France in their group or something like that, and I think that's going to bug me, actually. I'm not going to be able to remember that, but I think they had a big team in their group, and they had finished first above them, and they had won pretty much all of their games. So Denmark, they are a progressing side. As for this match, Burnley currently holding the ball. Harwood Bellis has got the ball, and he's just jogging with it, not really doing much about it. And yeah, he does a long ball over to one of the Burnley players. I'm afraid I don't really know my Burnley players, and without seeing their numbers, I can't really tell you who they are. But so yeah, not the highest quality that you'll get. Certainly not anything which you'd find on Sky, my commentary, but hopefully it will do. John Dole Thomason, he's just been shown on the screen. He has said in a recent interview that he will not be surprised by Burnley, and that he's ready to take them on pretty much. He watched them, I believe, in their 5-2 defeat to Sheffield United. And, he will have seen that, they are a bit weaker from set pieces, just as Muric has the ball now. The ball then goes over to Joshua Cullen, who runs with the ball along the right-hand side of the pitch and plays a short pass, which is intercepted. And Blackburn just trying to keep the ball for a little bit, but they do give the ball away. And eventually the ball does go out for a throw-in. It was, I don't know, to be honest. I think it was... No, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to get it wrong. Burnley currently with the ball, and we'll see what they can do from this. They pass it short over to Jack Cork, who's just in and around the centre of the pitch, not really attacking, should I say, as Maatsen is running with the ball now. He passes the ball wide, and really just a decent ball in the box needs to happen. But it will be a Burnley throw in, and it will be Maatsen to throw the ball in as well. Blackburn, they haven't drawn a game yet this season in the Championship. I do think that in this one they could possibly get a point, and their first draw over the season, but I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see them nick it late on, and maybe have some late scenes in the away end. But as for Burnley at the moment, they're controlling the possession. They're trying to get at Blackburn Rovers, and they're trying to get the first goal in the derby as Benson has the ball. He does eventually trip over, but Callum Britton does not foul him, and now Blackburn are attacking, and I think it is still Britton who tries to play through Sam Gallagher, but the ball is just a little bit too quick for him, and it goes into Muric's hands. At the moment, as it stands, Burnley are going first place, and with Blackburn staying in third. Currently 0-0, 7 minutes gone, and we'll see what will happen within this first half. But so far, it is Burnley who have controlled the ball. Blackburn just right now pressuring, but overall they haven't really tried to pressure Burnley. They've just tried to wait and see what will happen, and see whether Burnley will try and move it into the box, or whether they'll try and cross the ball into the box. But Blackburn did have a good chance, as I mentioned earlier. Callum Britton just trying to play through Sam Gallagher, but the ball just a little bit too quick for him. And eventually the ball does go into Muric's hands, as Burnley have the ball now. And it will be a free kick to Burnley, I think it might be. I'm not too sure. There was a player down on the ground. It was Cullen who was down on the ground. And yeah, that is a free kick. And the referee would have hopefully given that a foul from Travis. Did he give it? Oh, we'll find out. Yeah, he has. He has given the free kick. And it will be either Brownhill or Benson to cross the ball in. But it is just one of those derby tackles, isn't it? It's one of those where, you're just letting them know that you're there. And the ball is crossed in by Brownhill. And the shot by Ashley Barnes just goes to the left of the post and just goes out for a goal kick. But so far, Burnley certainly controlling the game, trying to find a way through the Blackburn defence, although they haven't really had any luck going through the Blackburn defence. I certainly wouldn't believe that they won't have big chances. They will have big chances. Both sides will have big chances. And, you know, with it being Derby Day, there probably will be some controversy involved. But the ball currently being played in the defence all the way back to Muric, who's just outside of his box. Blackburn don't try and pressure. They just let Muric have the ball. But overall, you know, currently we're 10 minutes in or something like that. I can't actually see the time because there is something in my way. But yeah, we're around 10 minutes in. There's still plenty of time for Blackburn to try and find a goal, as well as Burnley. But we will see who gets the win in this one, or whether it'll be a draw. So far, Burnley looking like they'll probably strike first, but don't underestimate Blackburn Rovers. They will certainly have their chances too. When watching both sides, when Birmingham played them, I thought Burnley, they probably didn't look as brilliant as I thought Blackburn were. But then again, it was a midweek match. Burnley had played just a few days before, as well as Birmingham City. But I did think that when Birmingham City did play Burnley, we did probably have the better chances, and we did control the play more in that one. But Burnley did strike first. But then about 6 or so minutes later, Blues did equalise with George Hall's cross. And just as Burnley are attacking now, I'm trying to remember who scored for Blues. I can't actually remember, to be honest. But the game did end 1-1 between Blues and Burnley. And what I can remember from that was that Blues probably did deserve the 3 points a bit more. But I thought that Burnley did hold on, and defensively they were okay. But against Blackburn for Blues, the first half we probably didn't deserve too much from it. I remember Steve Chong hit the post. But apart from that, there weren't really many big chances, and Blackburn Rovers did go 2-0 up by half-time. Blues did get one back with Scott Hogan, assisted by the former Burnley player, Lukas Jukovic. But we do try and pressure on from there. But overall, I did think that Blackburn did look decent defensively and attacking in the first half. They certainly did look dangerous. But there are just a few more challenges going on. The score is 0-0, 12 minutes in. Burnley currently having most of the ball and not really having chances, but they are just trying to find a way through Blackburn. But Blackburn are holding off quite nicely, to be fair, as Vitinho has the ball and passes the ball over to Maatsen. Maatsen trying to run with the ball, puts a cross in. Defended well, though, by Callum Britton. And eventually the ball is cleared. Blackburn Rovers, how do they go into this game with the mindset of Burnley have just lost 3-2 against Sheffield United the week before, and they have they've had quite a bit of the ball currently, but I think Blackburn at the moment, they won't be too worried, just as Burnley are moving into the Blackburn box, but nothing much is happening. It is a proper derby. You know, you have some derbies like Manchester City and Manchester United, or Manchester United versus Liverpool. But, you know, this is, you know, I think a championship derby certainly is a lot better than a Premier League derby. But then again, Premier League derbies, they do also have quite a bit of excitement going on around them. I just think a championship derby just has something different. You know, there's no VAR in the championship, is there? Which makes it just that little bit more exciting. But, you know, I mean, Birmingham City, they haven't been in the Premier League since 2011. So, you know, I can't remember the days when we were in the Premier League, unfortunately. To be fair, I can't remember the days when we beat Aston Villa, unfortunately. That was in 2011 or somewhere around there in 2010 actually, in the Cup, where eventually we went on to win the Carabao Cup that season, as well as getting relegated. So we were playing Europa League football in the Championship. And I believe Wigan Athletic also did that, didn't they? I think they won the FA Cup and got relegated that same season. So, yeah, it has happened before, and I'm sure it will. Hopefully, it will happen in the next coming years. But overall, I think there is a bit of a gap now between the better sides and the worst. And let's not say the worst sides, but just the less developed side, let's say. You see teams like Manchester City who are, I know that they've got money and I know that there's a lot of different aspects. But, teams like Man City, to be fair, Newcastle are now growing, aren't they, since they had their takeover. But it is a lot to do with money. And, if you do have the money, then fair play, do use it. But I think that there just is a gap now between some of the clubs. However, the Premier League, you do look at it and you do think that, anyone can beat anyone. We saw Leeds United winning 2-1 against Liverpool, was it? Although Liverpool aren't having the greatest season, it was still a shock with the way in which Leeds were going. But I think in the Championship, the Championship is a lot more different. I think that Championship, whether it's me being biased, I'm not too sure. But personally, I do think that the Championship is the best league, which you can find. There is that. It is really, if you get relegated, you're down to League One, where there are growing teams in League One as well. Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich, and even teams like Plymouth now who are doing decently in League One and looking to go to the Championship. But also, if you get promoted, you're into the Premier League, aren't you? So there is that excitement in the Championship, I do think. And I just think with, there being 24 teams, there's more teams in the Championship than the Premier League. So more games on offer. And I just think it's just that bit more exciting. I'm sure if Birmingham do go to the Premier League, I don't want to sound too confident, but I do think that, I do think that I will probably like the Premier League a bit more. But Burnley, they are a good side, to be fair. And I do think that Burnley will score first, looking at the way which this is going, them currently holding more of the ball, although not really having chances. They certainly, with possession, you can create chances eventually, just as Manuel Benson has the ball. And he just passes the ball back to Vitinho and then to Harwood Bellis, who is just moving into the Blackburn half. But overall, I think so far it's been a relatively exciting match. If there was a few more chances, then maybe it would be more entertaining. But I think it's a derby, isn't it? You can never be bored of a derby, just as the ball goes out of play. Nice little bit of water there, just to keep me going. Blackburn with the throw-in. And really, they're just going to look to try and hold a bit more of the ball, you'd think. Confidence with the ball needs to just be a little bit better for Blackburn. Burnley being at home, they are probably going to have more of the possession. And with Burnley this season, they have had a lot more possession than the other team this season. As for Blackburn, I think there was a statistic about them only having around 52% possession every game. Currently, Burnley have had a lot more possession, but you do think that sometime in this game, Blackburn will begin to control the possession, especially if they do concede. They will want to try and get back quickly, just as a few crosses are going into the box. But there isn't really much to talk about. They are cleared from Blackburn Rovers, and Benson has got the ball now. Passes the ball backwards to Joshua Cullen, who plays the ball to Harwood Bellis. Maatson has the ball, and Burnley just passing the ball backwards into their own half. Blackburn putting a little bit of pressure on them, although really they are standing off Burnley a bit. But just at this moment in time, Blackburn are starting to move towards the ball and trying to just put Burnley under a little bit of pressure and see whether they can make any mistakes. But overall, Vincent Kompany, he started his managerial career at Anderlecht, didn't he, as a player coach, and he learned quite a lot there. And then from there, in the 2020-21 season, he then went to be just manager there, I believe, wasn't he? And then he was there until the end of last season, and then he came over to Burnley. And since he came from Burnley, he's done a pretty good job, just as Benson tries to cross the ball into the box. But yeah, it doesn't work out, and it goes out for a Blackburn Rovers goal kick. And Kaminski, he has had some shots faced towards him, but none which have really tested him too much. I think Ashley Barnes, he did have a good chance earlier on, but it just went wide of the post. And so he hasn't really had to make a save yet. To be fair, I haven't really seen him with the ball so far in this match. But Blackburn Rovers will certainly try and attack from this, as this is really the first moment that they've had the ball. Although it is a goal kick, they'd hope to keep the ball from this and they'd give the ball away. But I wouldn't be too down for Blackburn yet. I mean, it is still 0-0. It's still early on in the game. And here we go. Ben Brereton Diaz has got the ball now. He's been pushed to the ground. It's strength. It's not going to be a penalty. Ben Brereton Diaz goes down to the ground. It was Jordan Bayer who just really with his shoulder, I think it was, just took him down with strength. And now here's Benson attacking for Burnley now. Moving into the Blackburn box. Crossed in. Barnes. Barnes tries to get to it, and I think he probably does get a connection, but it goes in the opposite direction to where the goal is. But that was an exciting bit of play. But yeah, I think Ben Brereton Diaz, if he does want to win that penalty, he's going to have to be a little bit more convincing. I mean, it was just strength, nothing too much in it, as Benson has got the ball on the right-hand side of the pitch, running with the ball, crossed in. It goes out for... It will go out for a throw-in, or did it? It already went out, I believe. So it'll be a goal kick to Blackburn Rovers. They're just showing the replay of the penalty call from Ben Brereton Diaz. Yeah, it's not a penalty. I don't think it is anyway. I think he has gone down quite easily there. And yeah, I think he would have been quite fortunate to have won that penalty. But it was a nice ball over the top to him. I'm not too sure who it was by, but Blackburn Rovers had won a free kick, and they had hit the ball up the pitch to try and find Ben Brereton Diaz, which they did. But then, obviously, the penalty call, which he had, was next. But just a little bit more from Blackburn there. And the first little bit of threatening play by Blackburn, as Burnley have got the ball in the defence. And I believe it is Tyler Harwood-Bellis who has got the ball, and he passes the ball to his left, where he would find Jordan Bayer. But currently, Burnley just keeping the ball as they have been throughout the match, and nothing really too much to talk about at the moment. Just Benson and Vitinho passing the ball between each other. And Blackburn, Sam Gallagher trying to pressure onto... nice touch there by Enes Ziori. I think I said his name correctly. Hopefully I did. It was a nice touch, but he got tackled. And yeah, it was a nice long ball over the top to try and find him, which it did. But then eventually nothing could come of it. Burnley with the throw-in then. And the ball is thrown over to Ziori. but eventually the ball does go into Thomas Kaminski's hands, and he gets hit in the face. Whether it's an accident, I'm not too sure, but I think it was Ashley Barnes. Yes, it was. And what's the referee going to decide here? The referee has stopped the play as Kaminski is down on the floor holding his face. To be honest, I'm not too sure what happened there, to be honest. I think, was it an accident? Did it look accidental? No, he's tried to push him. Hasn't touched his face though, I don't think. But yeah, it's Kaminski has the ball in his arms, and Ashley Barnes is just going, yeah, mate, yeah, I'm just going to give you a little bit of seconds, and just push you, and we'll see where it goes from there. It's a derby. Daniel Ayala has the ball then. Thomas Kaminski just rolling the ball to him. But Ben Kaminski gets the ball passed back to him, and the ball's kicked up the pitch, but Burnley intercept, and then I think it was Callum Britton who got the interception, and there's an advantage to Blackburn Rovers. Ben Brereton Diaz went down onto the ground, and then there is a free kick to Blackburn Rovers, and we'll see whether Blackburn can do something from this set-piece situation. It's just inside the Burnley half. It's certainly not in a shooting range, but we'll see how Blackburn go about this, what their plan is in this game with set pieces. I spoke earlier about Burnley being just a little bit weaker from set pieces, just as we are into the 26th minute. So current score, Burnley 0, Blackburn 0, 26 minutes gone. Blackburn have got a free kick. It will be Tyler Morton, to take the free kick. And it's into the box, but it goes out for a goal kick. And Muric will be looking to kick the ball up the pitch and see what Burnley can do from this. Free kick to Burnley. Ashley Barnes goes down. Daniel Ayala committing the foul from the Muric's goal kick up the pitch. It will be Josh Brownhill, I think, to take it. And they'll see what they can do from this Burnley and see whether they can get it into the box, which I'm sure they will. Brownhill, good player, played for Burnley in the Premier League. One of the players who didn't leave them. And we'll see what Burnley can do from this. There is also Benson also over the ball. And it is Benson who crosses the ball in. But it's defended well by Blackburn Rovers. And now they can try and attack with... to be honest, I don't know who it was, to be honest. But Vitinho does go in for a tackle. And Burnley trying to attack. And in fact, they do still have the ball. I don't know how Jack Cork kept the ball there, but he had a Blackburn player on him. I think it was Clinton Mola, perhaps, and yeah, he was just able to keep the ball until the ball did eventually go out. Burnley with a chance now. Brownhill shoots from just outside the box and it goes to Rosed. Not a great shot from him. He would have certainly been hoping that it would have been a little bit different, but good football by Burnley. It was Joshua Cullen who just brought the ball down from his knee and passed the ball off to Josh Brownhill. But Brownhill skied the ball straight over the crossbar and into the Burnley fans. So far, though, the match has been it has been mostly Burnley with the ball. Blackburn haven't really had too much of the ball and therefore haven't really had many chances. As for Burnley, though, to be fair, you can't really say that they've had many chances either. They've had, the odd one nearer to the start of the game, but yeah, recently they haven't had chances. I mean, Josh Brownhill just with his chance just then, but do we really class that as a chance? It was nowhere near to the goal. Burnley with the ball, crossed in, defended well by Daniel Ayala with his head, and now Vitinho has the ball for Burnley. We're into the 30th minute. It's Burnley 0, Blackburn Rovers 0 here at Turf Moor. As it stands, Burnley are first place and the Rovers of Blackburn are staying in third. Well, Benson has the ball now. Just moving with it, takes on the shot into Kaminski's hands. And to be honest, I wasn't really too sure what was going on because the camera, I predict 1-1 as well. I think, Blackburn haven't drawn a match yet, but I think in this one it's a game which, they do probably look to draw. Turf Moor on a derby day, it's going to be a tough place to go, and certainly the atmosphere is going to be quite. I don't want to say hostile because I don't think it would be, but certainly fired up. Let's say, but Sky Sports have just shown a statistic that Burnley have had 5 shots, I think it was. Blackburn have had 0. So Burnley certainly controlling the game, both shots-wise and possession-wise, as they have got the ball now. And it's Howard Bellis, I believe it was, who was running with the ball into really the midfield position. And now Benson with the ball. And he crosses it in, but it's defended well once again by Daniel Ayala with his head. And it goes out for a throw-in to Burnley. But yeah, I think it will be a draw, this one. Currently, Burnley are looking like the team who are going to score. As I mentioned, just Blackburn haven't had a shot yet. But I think once Burnley do score, or whether Blackburn score, you never know. I think from there we will have quite an exciting game on our hands, as there is an advantage to Blackburn, who are just still attacking, crossed in, tries to find Sam Gallagher, but defended well by Burnley, and now Ashley Barnes has the ball. Is he fouled? No, he's not. Referee says that he's not, and a long ball over the top goes across everyone and into Murich's hands, the goalkeeper for Burnley today. Well, we'll just talk a little bit about the Carabao Cup, because both sides are still in it. Blackburn Rovers, they managed to beat West Ham, just as Burnley are attacking now. But in fact, they have the ball. Blackburn have tried to defend it, but it kept staying with Burnley. But the ball goes into Kaminski's hands. But Blackburn Rovers, they managed to draw 2-2 with West Ham, I believe it was, and won on penalties. Jack Vale, the young lad for Blackburn Rovers, he managed to score the first goal in that one, and then Brereton Diaz scoring late on to take the game to penalties, just as Burnley are time wasting with the ball. The Burnley fans, I should say. But yeah, then Blackburn, have they got Nottingham Forest, I think it was. So tough match for them. As for Burnley, I can't remember who they've got, but I do know that they are into the next round, and I was secretly hoping that Blackburn and Burnley would get each other in the cup. But as Ben Brereton Diaz is running with the ball, can Blackburn maybe strike first here? Still Diaz, and he passes the ball short and then over to Callum Britton. Crossed in and cleared away by Burnley, and just in the nick of time, really. Daniel Ayala heads the ball close to his defensive partner, who I think was Dom Hyam. And so now it is a Blackburn Rovers throw-in. Ryan Hedges to throw the ball in, and we'll see whether Blackburn could maybe pressure Burnley a bit more, just like they did just with Ben Brereton Diaz running with the ball. But if you're asking me, Burnley looking like they're going to score first, but I wouldn't rule out Blackburn Rovers. Not with the way which they've been going this season anyway. But yes, so far, Burnley certainly looking the more threatening side. Blackburn just now trying to attack and do balls over the top, but it's defended nicely by Burnley, and Maatsen has got the ball now, or when he doesn't keep it in, and it will be a Blackburn throw-in. Well, the past 5 or so minutes, Blackburn have had a bit more of the ball and have tried to attack Burnley a little bit more. But overall, not many chances have been created by them. And really, in fact, is there a chance here? I think Ben Brereton Diaz was just offside. But as I was saying, Blackburn Rovers, they just need to create a few chances. Just get into the game and just try concentrate. Just put a few passes together and, just try and help each other out. Run for the ball, call for the ball, communicate. And I'm sure, I think for Blackburn to have held on, fair play to them. Burnley have put pressure on them. Haven't so much have had any big chances, but they certainly have tried to attack the Blackburn defence. We're into the 37th minute. It's Burnley 0, Blackburn Rovers 0 here at Turf Moor. Just as Clinton Mola had the ball, and he passed the ball backwards to Thomas Kaminski, who's in goal, the number 1 for Blackburn Rovers today. Long ball over to Ben Brereton Diaz. In fact, no, it's Sam Gallagher, sorry. Their hair is the same, to be fair. Confusing, that is. But I'm sure I'll get it right eventually. But Ben Brereton Diaz, and it is Ben Brereton Diaz this time, who kicks the ball out for a goal kick to Burnley, I think it is. Yes, it is. It's a goal kick to Burnley. Obviously, these games being the final games for both of these sides before the World Cup takes place, and then hopefully England can win the World Cup. Whether many people will be that confident, though, I'm not too sure. I think England, they have got a good side, and I personally do think that they will do well in this World Cup. But many people, because of the Nations League, they're not confident. But personally, I think England will have a good World Cup. Whether they'll win it, I'm not too sure about that. But I certainly wouldn't write England off. Harwood Bellis has got the ball now for Burnley, just in the defence. And now it's Vitinho. Just running a little bit forward, but not too far forward. He passes the ball short to Benson, who then passes the ball back into the defence to Harwood Bellis, who plays a long ball over to Benson. Will he keep it in? No, he can't. but it will be a goal kick to Blackburn Rovers. It was a nice idea by Taylor Harwood-Bellis, but it just didn't really work out for Burnley in the end. For Burnley, just with the ball in the defence once again. Sky Sports just showing a statistic. The last 10 minutes, possession has been 43% to Burnley and 57% to Blackburn. So things certainly improving for Blackburn Rovers. They just need to find a goal to go 1-0 up. But I think by half time, I think the score will probably be 0-0. It certainly, attacking wise, hasn't been the most entertaining game. Just as Burnley have got a free kick. But I think this second half, it should be a good second half. But there still is time in this first half. We're in and around the 39th minute. I'd go 40th minute. Yeah, I've got something blocking me, some subtitles, just so I do know what's going on in the game, just in case there is a decision which I'm not too sure on. But yeah, just as Vitinho has the ball for Burnley, passes the ball over to Cullen, who tries to do something with the ball, but it's defended well by Blackburn Rovers. Vitinho with the ball, with Josh Brownhill, and there will be a yellow card because I think Vitinho, is it, who has been hit in the face or something like that? Yeah, it was Vitinho. And it's Lewis Travis who's been given the yellow card. And on the replays, I've missed what's happened. So I can't really tell you what's happened. But that is classic me there, missing what was going on. But yeah, Lewis Travis gets a yellow card, and Brownhill to cross it in. It's just on the edge of the pitch. It's certainly not in a shooting range. Brownhill and Benson were over it, I believe. But there is still a chance. And what a save by Thomas Kaminski. Wow. I don't really know what's happened, but it's crossed in by Brownhill, and there is a shout for handball. It's Ben Brereton Diaz who has the handball, and well, the handball claims towards him. And then there's a header from a Burnley player. I wasn't too sure who it was, but what a great save by Kaminski. And then Kaminski again. The ball's been crossed in once again, and it is Josh Cullen who has his header tipped over the crossbar. But now we're finally seeing something to get excited about. It was in fact, no, Josh Cullen had crossed the ball in. It was Ashley Barnes, was it? I think it was Ashley Barnes who had the header. Well, whatever happened, it's a great save by Kaminski. 2 great saves within the space of around a minute. I think it was Harwood-Bellis with the first header where Kaminski saved it. And really, that should have been 1-0. But Burnley have got a corner now in the 43rd minute. It's Burnley 0, Blackburn 0. Can it go 1-0 to Burnley? No, it's a very poor cross and defended well by Blackburn Rovers. Muric, right on the halfway line, clears the ball, and it goes out for a Blackburn throw-in. He's got to get back to his goal quickly as Blackburn throw the ball up high in the air, and Ian Matson handballed the ball. But I'm sure that the throw-in's got to be taken again. That's why he did it, because he literally caught the ball. So, yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't have done that if the ball was actually in play. But yeah, the throw-in's going to go back to Blackburn Rovers, and just nearing to half-time now. Looks like it's going to go 0-0 at half-time. Well, Blackburn with the ball now. Just trying to attack Burnley, but Howard Bellis does get something onto it, but Blackburn keep the ball, and then Brownhill, has he kept the ball in? No, he hasn't. It will be a throw-in to Blackburn Rovers. Just nearing half-time. We're in the 44th minute. It's Burnley 0, Blackburn 0. Well, Daniel Ayala has got the ball for Blackburn Rovers now, and Blackburn just in their own half, playing comfortably, and the ball is hit up the pitch towards Ben Brereton Diaz, and there is a chance maybe. It's just defended well by Burnley, and now they can go and attack. Burnley, yeah, they are. I think if Jay Rodriguez was playing, I think he could have. We know that he is a good striker, just as Ashley Barnes has got the ball now. We know that he can score goals, and we've seen him in the Championship previously, and he is a good overall striker. Added time has been shown. I don't know how many minutes there are, though, to be honest. I'll find out in a minute. But, there hasn't really been that many big chances, not been that many stoppages, so I'm sure there won't be that many. Still can't see how many minutes of added time there is now, but and that's it, half time. There was only around 1 minute of added time. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, half time at Turf Moor. Burnley, they've had more possession, and they did test Thomas Kaminski once really around the 40th minute mark, well, twice around the 40th minute mark. But two great saves by Kaminski keeps the score 0-0 at half time. Well, quite a bit to talk about in that first half. Burnley and Blackburn, both of them playing the ball in and around the defence, and they certainly won't mind that. Neither side have really put all too much pressure on them during that bit where they have had the ball in the defence. Howard Bellis, he's had the ball quite a bit, and they've tried to attack more onto the right side for Burnley, where like Vitinho and Benson are. And then from there, they've tried to, either cross the ball in or just try and make passes, but it just hasn't really worked out for them. For Blackburn, you can't really say much about them attacking-wise. Defensively, Daniel Ayala's looked good. He's had a few times where he's had to clear the ball with his head. And I mean, players like Ben Brereton Diaz, he has shown a bit of his quality when the ball has eventually found him. But overall, I think the standout player for them so far is Kaminski, due to those two saves which he made just before half-time. But in the second half, I think it will be a bit more open. I do think there will be more chances. Obviously, as I have mentioned before, Blackburn Rovers have not drawn a game in the Championship yet, so certainly expect something to happen before full-time this afternoon. But half-time, it's 0-0. And it has, although there hasn't been too many chances, it's been an entertaining game to watch. I think, looking at Blackburn Rovers, I think substitutes for them, I think Jack Vale could have a chance of coming on. Whether they'd want to risk him in a big match like this, we'll see. But I mean, he got a goal against West Ham, and so I don't see why he shouldn't come on in the second half. Things still aren't going Blackburn Rovers' way. But yeah, you never know. We'll see what happens in this second half, and hopefully we'll see a few goals. I predicted 1-1, and yeah, we'll see whether I'll be correct by full time. Well, as for Burnley, I look at their substitutes and, I look at players like Johan Berg Gudmundsson, who I picked him out really because I have seen him score against Birmingham City. Well, I think that I'll come back to my point in a minute, but I think that at the moment, if I am predicting at half time, I probably am going to go 1-0 to Burnley. I don't think there'll be too many goals, but I have gone 1-1. But I think that I do think that there will be at least one goal in the second half, hopefully. But thank you very much for joining and have a good rest of your day as you are leaving, unfortunately. But thank you for joining. But back to the point which I was making. Johan Gudmundsson, he's a good player. He's a midfielder, I believe, isn't he? And when he played against Birmingham City, he'd come on as a sub, and then a few minutes later, he had he had scored a really nice goal. I think it was just from outside the box, maybe, or it was in and around the box anyway. But I think I'd like to see him come on in the second half for Burnley, and probably Nathan Teller as well. He's a decent attacking player from what I've seen of him. As for if Burnley do go 1-0 up early on, I think Connor Roberts, he's a good defender, isn't he? But overall, I think Burnley, the subs which they've got, I do think that they do stand a good chance in this second half, but they've got to try and pressure Blackburn Rovers. They haven't done that as much in this first half, which is something which you have to look at, and you do have to think, well, if that's not happened in the first half, what's going to happen in the second half? What can Vincent Kompany do to try and overcome what's gone on in the first half, where really neither side have had brilliant chances? Yes, Burnley have had those two chances just before half time, and just before, just nearer to the start of the match. But overall, I don't think there's been too many brilliant chances. For a derby, maybe there's just a bit of nerves, but I think there just needs to be that bit of excitement, something which will make the crowd roar, and then all of a sudden, it goes down onto the pitch and the players start to play with more confidence. Not the greatest first half performance. I completely agree. Last 15 minutes, you started to have a bit more of the ball, but you still weren't really able to create chances, Blackburn Rovers. And so that is the worry for me going into the second half. If Blackburn haven't been able to do that in the first half, I can appreciate that, it's Turf Moor, it's a tough place to go. But it's a derby, and really you want to get onto the score sheet first, and you really want to strike early. Certainly, if I'm the Blackburn Rovers manager, John Dale Thomason, I'm saying to my team, put pressure on Burnley, see whether you can get an early goal in the second half, and then just try and keep the pressure. Stay tight defensively. Don't let them have any big chances. And if they do, make sure that it doesn't knock your confidence too much. But try and get the goal early in the first half and see how everyone else reacts. The Burnley players, whether they hold off a little bit more, or whether they are or whether they will try and come and attack. But I think either way, Blackburn, they do have to change something. What they will have to change, though, is down to John Dale Thomason. He'll certainly be saying to his players that they need to attack more. Use Ben Brereton Diaz, use Sam Gallagher. They can score goals. Ben Brereton Diaz, he's scored 9 goals this season, joint top scorer in the league with a few other players, but one which I also picked out, Scott Hogan from Birmingham City. He's also joint top scorer, along with a lot of other players who I can't really remember. Ryan Hedges, yeah, he's been decent to today. I don't know too much about him, unfortunately, but he certainly is one of those players who looks confident and looks like that he will try and help Blackburn however he does it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes in the second half. I think it will certainly be a lot more even. I think both sides will try and attack, especially coming towards the end of the game. But hopefully we just see some goals. Yeah, well, I think there always is that one player or a group of players who you want to stay at your club forever, don't you? Is Ryan Hedges one of those players for Blackburn Rovers? I mean, for me, those players, Lukas Jukovic, he's been at the club since 2017, I think it was. He was on loan from Burnley to Birmingham City the season before he joined permanently. But yeah, he's one of those players who I just want him to stay forever. He scored on Friday night against Sunderland. But also, players like, Scott Hogan, although he does miss some big chances, he does score goals, but players like John Ruddy as well, great goalkeeper, and he's certainly enjoying his time at Birmingham City. But yeah, we'll see how this second half goes. Will there be any changes at half time? I don't think so. I think there will be some early substitutions in half time. I do think that both sides do need just that bit of how do you describe it? That change in the team, something which will bring positivity, fresh legs running at the defence. But currently 0-0, and we'll see how the game goes in the second half. It is 1:29 p.m. and the game should get underway within the next 6 or so minutes, I'd go with, as half-time wasn't, as the first half ended not that long ago. So, yeah, if you're Vincent Kompany, you probably look at who you've got on the bench and you think, well, we've got players who we know can change games, and he'll certainly trust in his substitutions when he does make them. But if I'm Vincent Kompany, I'm saying just keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, we will have the chances. Try not to allow Blackburn Rovers to have too much of the ball, like they've done throughout most of the first half. And just try and increase that confidence in the players. Just put a few passes together and see what happens. Try get the ball into the box and just try create danger and try to fire up the home fans more. I've got Sky Sports on mute, so I can't hear what the atmosphere is like, but I'm sure once the first goal does go in, if Burnley do get the first goal, I'm sure the place will absolutely go rocking. But yeah, I think both managers do need to just speak to their teams a little bit and just try and make it like a derby. You want to see attacks either side, and although that isn't a dream game, isn't it? I think in a derby which is this big, the East Lancashire Derby is an absolute massive derby, and so and with the way in which everything's gone so far, not much has happened attacking wise. Nearer to the end of the first half, Burnley did have chances, but I think overall so far it's not been the greatest game. We have had a few challenges where there has been a bit of controversy. Ashley Barnes, Thomas Kaminski thought that his hands went into his face, but Ashley Barnes, his hands just stayed on his arms pretty much, on Thomas Kaminski's arms. And so, I don't really see what Kaminski was trying to do there, trying to send him off. But, yeah, referee didn't really see much in it, to be honest. And Ashley Barnes, I don't think got anything from that, did he? I don't think he had a card anyway. But the second half, it will begin shortly, and we'll see what happens, whether Burnley or Blackburn will get the first goal, or whether the game will end as a 0-0 draw. Just another point to make. Blackburn Rovers, if we think back to 4 or 5 seasons ago, they were down in League One. Now they're fighting to go up to the Premier League. So certainly, they're certainly showing good quality. I think owners are ambitious. They're doing sensible transfers. They need to keep Ben Brereton Diaz, though. I think his contract's running out, isn't it? So I think you've either got to sell him in the transfer window in January, or you try and get him on another contract. But I think if Blackburn Rovers do get promoted, I think he's got to stay, hasn't he, really? But I do fear that if they don't get promoted, I do think this could be his last season at Blackburn. Just as Blackburn Rovers have come out onto the pitch, and Burnley will certainly come out too. They already have, actually. But the second half is about to begin. So the score currently 0-0. Hopefully we'll see a few goals. But it's about to get underway once again at Turf Moor. Well, Blackburn Rovers kicked us off in the first half, so Burnley are going to kick us off in the second half with Josh Brownhill. The final 45 minutes of Derby Day is about to get underway, and who will come out victorious? Will it end as a draw? Hopefully we see a few goals, but if not, let's hope to see just something which will excite the crowd a little bit. Brownhill kicks us off, and it's gonna have to be retaken because Ziuri, I think that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I've said that wrong, but he had just crossed the line and went into the Blackburn half. Sky Sports showing a statistic. Shots in the first half, Burnley 7, Blackburn 0. That you can see where Blackburn have got to improve from, just as Blackburn are playing the ball around their half. Just made it out of their box, but Burnley certainly pressuring. And it will be a Burnley throw in just near to the box. In fact, no, it's not. It's just a little bit further down. But eventually Muric has the ball. Sorry, I don't really understand what you mean there. Like and follow. Decent name. But yeah. Thank you for joining anyway, I guess. But I think Travis had just been fouled, I think. But Blackburn get us set off in this game once again. And Burnley headed the ball, but only to as far as you know what? I'm not too sure, to be honest, but Ben Brereton Diaz has Blackburn's first shot of the game, and it goes out for a corner. Is that today? Because I'm not too sure if I can do today, to be honest, because this talking is actually getting my throat a little bit sore. But I could certainly try and do some other of these soon, and I'll see what I can do. Just as Blackburn have a corner now, but thank you for the suggestion. I'm glad that you think that this is decent enough for me to do another one. Just as Blackburn do a long ball across the box, it went to Ryan Hedges, but now Blackburn, just have the ball in the defence. But they're certainly trying to attack more. They're certainly looking more exciting, let's say. And there is just a little bit of a scrap going on, but nothing too serious, and it will be a throw-in to Burnley. Daniel Ayala has got the ball now for Blackburn Rovers. Headed away by Burnley. But Blackburn certainly having a bit more possession. And they've had one more shot than they had in the first half already, which is always a positive to think about. But Blackburn, they just really need to keep the ball a bit more. They're doing long balls over the top, but they're giving the ball away. Just as Garrett gets in an interception, and now Blackburn on an attack, but they try to pass the ball through to Tyler Morton, I think it was, and it goes into Murich's hands, I think, or it's a goal kick, not sure which one. But Sam Gallagher's down on the floor. He looks in some discomfort as well, actually. And what happened here? Oh, I think maybe there was a bit of connection on him. Yeah, I'm not sure who got the connection on him, but he does look in some discomfort, and I do think he will go off. I think that will be the end of his game. Yeah, his knee is just in a little bit of pain there. I won't describe what it looked like because it didn't look very pretty. But he's going to be substituted off, and Tyrese Dolan is coming onto the pitch. But yeah, that's going to be really painful for Sam Gallagher. And it looked painful from just watching it on the screen. There is also there's someone else getting ready. Is he to replace Sam Gallagher? I think, is that Jack Vale? Or, well, it's not Bradley Dack, I'm telling you now. So I think it is Jack Vale. I saw the 20 bit. Is Sam Gallagher telling? Sam Gallagher saying that he doesn't want to be subbed off. So what's going on here? Well, Burnley have got us underway once again anyway. And it will be another Burnley throw in. Well, Jack Vale just putting his training bib back on. And I don't think he'll be coming on in the end. Tyler Harwood-Bellis. Just with the ball, just in the Blackburn half, but not doing too much with it. And we'll see where it goes from here. But Blackburn aren't really pressuring Burnley. If I was Blackburn, I'd try pressure them, see whether they can make a mistake, see whether I can give my team the advantage. But there's a long ball over to Ashley Barnes. There's a chance here, and well defended, to be fair. I think it might have been. Well, I'm not sure. Callum Britton, I think it might have been. Yeah. But the ball's put into the box by Ian Matson, and Ashley Barnes has the ball, and then I think it was it Cullen who tried to go in for the shot, and it was blocked by Britton. Yeah, it was Cullen who tried to go in for the shot, but it was a really nice block by Callum Britton, and Jack Vale has come on. Sam Gallagher's come off. So, yeah, that is the end of Derby Day for Gallagher. I'll just note that down. And now Benson has the ball, but he passed the ball back to Vitinho. Certainly, the first few minutes of this second half, has been a lot more entertaining than the first half. But hopefully there'll be a goal to come soon. Burnley calling for a free kick. They don't get it. I think it was Benson who went down to the ground. I wasn't too sure. I thought perhaps he was blocked, but the referee says no. And now Burnley trying to attack, but well defended by Blackburn Rovers. But Enes Zuri goes down to the ground holding his hamstring, I think it is. And it was Dominic Hyam who had sent him down to the ground, but he gets back up. Oh, that does look painful. Hyam just shoulders him into the advertising board, and yeah, then from there, it does look quite painful, and I'm sure you can imagine how painful it is. But goal kick for Blackburn. Kaminski hits the ball up the pitch and intercepted straight away by Burnley, and it was Ian Matson who intercepted the goal kick. Well, 54 minutes in, it's Burnley 0, Blackburn Rovers 0 here in the East Lancashire Derby. But I certainly wouldn't rule either side out yet. Blackburn yet to draw a game this season. Will they draw a game today? Will they win or will they lose? We'll find out, I guess. Right now, Burnley look to be the stronger side in this one. And there's a goal! 1-0, Ashley Barnes. Ashley Barnes with the goal. It was crossed in by... I'm looking at the wrong team here. It was crossed in by Ziori. And Derby Day goes wild for Burnley. 1-0 to the Clarets. And Turf Moor erupts. 55 minutes gone. It's Burnley 1, Blackburn 0. Wow. Harwood Bellis does a long ball over the top. It was Ashley Barnes who scored. And then Zuri has the ball. Did I say that correctly? Yeah. Zuri has the ball. He crosses it in. It's a beautiful cross, to be fair. And Ashley Barnes, from about 3 or 4 yards out, he's never going to miss, and runs into Kaminski as well. But Burnley have got the lead on Derby Day. And Ashley Barnes, the passion from him in his celebration, his first goal of the season. Quite surprised by that. He is a good striker. And he has got the goal which puts Burnley 1-0 up on Derby Day. Yeah, it was an absolute beauty of a cross. And certainly Burnley will now be looking to try and get a second. Blackburn Rovers, well, it hasn't really gone their way from the first minute, really. Burnley put pressure on to start with, and then from there, it just falls away from them. Although they've held on, and they have held on nicely, just really, it's looked like Burnley would score first. And there is a free kick to Blackburn. Josh Brownhill kicks the ball away, but certainly John Dole Thomason will be wanting to get back and get a goal early on. Blackburn, they haven't drawn a game this season. I've said that a few times today. I would expect that to start today, to be honest, with it being Derby Day and with the expectations being so high. But Burnley are now top of the table. They were even when they were drawing, but now they are 3 points ahead at the top of the Championship table. Just checking my facts there. But Blackburn Rovers have got a corner. Needs to be a good ball into the box. A lot of players in the box for Blackburn, but the header goes over and it will be another corner for Blackburn Rovers. Ryan Hedges to cross the ball in. And that should be another corner. It's a goal kick. I thought it came off Jack Cork there, but referee thinks otherwise. And it's a goal kick to Burnley. And Muric will take his time over this. It will frustrate the Blackburn fans, but yeah, it's blatantly off Jack Cork's head. I don't see how the referee has not seen that, to be honest. Hang on. Clinton Mola gave the ball away. Burnley on the attack. Benson. Gets past Mola nicely. Crossed in. Defended well by Ryan Hedges. Burnley keep the ball though now. Well, Ian Matson has got the ball. And Burnley now pressuring Blackburn Rovers once again. And they're going to hope to find a second goal. And now they found their first goal. Brownhill, his header over to Zayori. Zayori twisting and turning. And there's a chance and a big miss. Big miss by Ashley Barnes. Goes over the crossbar. And that could have been 2-0. He's already scored 1 goal today. But it was really nice by Anas Zayori, twisting and turning, and Blackburn couldn't really do anything about him. But Vincent Kompany, his nerves would have just settled. As for Blackburn Rovers and John Dole Thomason, they're looking to get a goal back, and they will want to soon if they're looking to go and find a winner as well. I'm not on TikTok, no. I'm not that cool. Ian Matson with the ball. Over to Josh Brownhill. It's a great ball over to Matson. And it's really well defended by someone. I think it was... I'm trying to see his name. I think it was Lewis Travis. Don't quote me on that. Well, Blackburn, they just need to hold the ball just for a little bit of time. And Jake Garrett has gone down to the ground. Yellow card to... I don't know. Who's that a yellow card to? It's an absolute awful challenge, to be fair. But I think that is Jack Cork. It is Jack Cork. And Burnley fans certainly loving the scenes they're just showing. Sky Sports are just showing all of the Burnley fans in the stadium, or some of the Burnley fans, I should say. And they're having a great time. They're 1-0 up on Derby Day. Who doesn't love a Derby Day win? Although it hasn't been confirmed yet. There's still plenty of time for Blackburn to equalise as Ben Brereton Diaz is running down, but he's just offside. And it can't have been far off, to be honest, either. Oh, he's off. He's onside there, I'm pretty sure. Ben Brereton Diaz, I think it's Jordan Bayer who's playing him on. But, well, I've got subtitles on, and apparently one of the commentators have said it's a good decision by the assistant. So maybe he was offside. I'm not too sure. But I personally thought he was onside. Well, Bayer passes the ball backwards over to Muric, who passes the ball short, well, I say short, along the ground to Josh Brownhill. And Burnley just playing the ball in the defence. They don't really mind. Blackburn aren't really pressuring. They're having a great time. To be fair, Burnley, they're looking to come back with a win after their 5-2 defeat to Sheffield United. And really, they haven't been tested by Blackburn Rovers. Ben Brereton Diaz had a big chance early on in the second half. But to be honest, since then, Burnley have done really well to keep Blackburn away from their goal. Throw into Burnley, and Burnley can just relax. They can waste a little bit of time here, and they can try and hold on as much as possible. And there is a free kick to Blackburn, I believe. I think it was Ashley Barnes who took down Jake Garrett, was it? Perhaps. And Blackburn Rovers want a card there, I think. But he's just going to have a talking to. Oh, no. No, it wasn't Jake Garrett. It was Ryan Hedges. So, yeah, it did look quite a tough challenge, but the referee has just spoken to him, said, just calm it down a little bit. Which, yeah, I think was probably the right thing to do, to be fair. In these derby matches, you just have to be a little bit stricter with your decisions and just make sure that it is as fair as possible, and there will be a Burnley goal kick. So 65 minutes gone. It's Burnley 1, Blackburn Rovers 0. As Burnley are attacking now with Zayori. And it will be a Blackburn throw in. And really, Blackburn need to get a goal soon if they're going to look to try and win. But really, I think I can't see Blackburn scoring. To be honest, I think they haven't looked brilliant today. I think defensively they've looked okay, but I think attacking wise they haven't had many chances. And in fact, Blackburn have just given the ball away now. And Zayori, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. If I'm not, then what's the worst that can happen? I might myself look like an idiot. And Blackburn do have a player down. Referee blows his whistle. And Zayori is going to get some treatment, perhaps. Let's see the challenge back. It's Callum Britton maybe does get a little bit of connection on him, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't think there was that much connection, to be honest. But big chance for Burnley now. It's Burnley 1, Blackburn 0, and Josh Brownhill and Manuel Benson over the free kick. Well, it's crossed in by Benson to the edge of the box, where it's tried to be headed in, but defended by Blackburn Rovers. Vitinho tries to header the ball away, but Blackburn do have possession. Well, this derby, it's been so long in waiting, and it's a little bit anticlimactic, to be honest. I mean, the sides haven't played each other since 2017, and so yeah, there has been quite a bit of wait, 5 years, but I think to wait this long for a game like this, and yeah, it's been entertaining at points, but I just think there hasn't been too many chances for either side, and it's just one of those games, really. I'm enjoying it nonetheless, though. Muric hits the ball up the pitch, tries to find Maatsen, and it was Tyler Morton who tried to go for the header, missed it. Maatsen didn't expect that, and so it went out for a throw-in to Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn making a substitution now. John Buckley is going to come on the pitch, scored an absolute screamer against Birmingham City at the end of last season, sorry. Yeah, I think Blackburn have tried to keep Burnley off them as much as possible, but I think they're focused on that too much. I think attacking-wise, Blackburn haven't really had many options. I think they've tried to stay back as much as possible. But John Buckley getting straight into things on Manuel Benson. John Dale Thomason getting a little bit hyped up there. Not too sure what he was talking about, but there is a free kick to Burnley. I'll just make sure that John Buckley is now on my team sheet. Got to find out who he came off for. Who did he come off for? Does anyone know? Well, Burnley have had 10 shots to Blackburn's 1, but only 4 on target to Blackburn's 1. As Burnley are attacking now. Oh, and Ashley Barnes, he's tried to touch the ball, and instead of doing his touch, it just goes off his foot and goes straight out. But I think it was Benson who was running with the ball. Nice football by him, and unfortunate for Burnley. Well, Burnley making substitutions. Benson is coming off in replace for Nathan Teller, who will be coming onto the pitch. Benson, he's played decently today. He's had his moments. The run with the ball, which he just did, which I was just talking about, where Ashley Barnes just failed to touch it down, and it went out for a goal kick. That was a nice little run. And he's had periods throughout the game where ultimately he's tried to create chances, but unfortunately for Burnley, apart from the goal, that was set up by Zaori, unfortunately, what he's created hasn't gone to anything. So shame for him, but I wouldn't say he's played badly, not today. Well, Blackburn need to attack. They're just playing the ball around in their own half at the moment. Just put pressure on Burnley. see whether you can find any weaknesses which you could expose over the coming minutes. But Kaminsky gives the ball away to Teller. Teller with his fresh legs running into the box. Still Teller. Teller goes for it. Shoots and saved by Kaminsky. Well, defensively for Blackburn Rovers, not brilliant. But Kaminsky gave the ball away so poorly. That is a really poor pass by him. And Teller kept going. I think it was Mola. Clinton Mola went in for a slide tackle, and Teller just went to see you later, mate. But Kaminsky was there to save the shot. And there will be a goal kick for Blackburn Rovers after the corner didn't really work out. Oh, Ashley Barnes shoots. Saved by Kaminsky, but it's in. I was looking down, but it is Zaori who's got the goal. Anas Zaori. Well, Ashley Barnes had a shot, which was saved by Kaminsky. Then Kaminsky, it hits out, and then Zaori is there, which will win it. I'm sure of that because Blackburn haven't put any pressure on. And I was just looking at my team sheets to try and find out who had the ball. But, oh dear. Ayala passes the ball over to Mola. Mola passes the ball, and then from there, he loses the ball. And then, it's a great flick by Teller over to Ashley Barnes. The flick with like his heel, Nathan Teller. And then Ashley Barnes shoots, saved by Kaminsky, but then it's pretty much an open goal for Anas Zaori. It was an absolute brilliant flick. And Burnley go 2-0 up at Turf Moor. Derby Day is going well for them. Vincent Kompany loves it because he knows that really, if the game continues how it's going, Burnley have won. It is Austin Trusty-like, yeah. Apart from Austin Trusty would score that. But Blackburn Rovers, they're in trouble now. Burnley are going to stay top of the table. Well, Barnes had already scored one goal. He scored the first goal, and he was hoping to get a second, but that was saved by Kaminsky. But fortunately for him, Zaori was there, and it went into the back of the net. What more can you say? And Teller with the ball now, and it just goes out, and it will be a goal kick to Blackburn Rovers. Well, Bradley Dack is getting ready to come onto the pitch and hope that Blackburn Rovers can do something to try and bring back hope. But I think the 3 points is out of the window now. Bradley Dack's coming on in replace for Lewis Travis, who, has been okay. Hasn't really had too many chances overall. But Derby Day's over for him. Well, the Blackburn Rovers fans in that away end, no smiles at all, as I'm sure you'd expect. But looks like it's going to be another East Lancashire Derby win for Burnley to make it 5 in a row. Burnley unbeaten in the derby since the 2nd of December 2012. They've played 7 times since then, with Burnley getting 4 wins and there being 3 draws. And it looks like the game is going to go Burnley's way. 2-0 is the most dangerous score in football with Blackburn Rovers and the way which they've been playing today. You can't really see anything coming from this, but at least we've seen goals as Ben Brereton Diaz has the ball. Plays it over to Clinton Mola. Back to Ben Brereton Diaz. But Blackburn just unable to create chances. They were just in Burnley's box and they've had to pass it back out of the box. But Mola now needs to put a ball in the box really Brownhill takes him down, and it will be a free kick to Blackburn Rovers, a chance for Blackburn. Something which we haven't really said so far today. But this one's got to go into the back of the net. It's got to be a nice crossing onto someone like Ben Brereton Diaz's head, and then, get into the back of the net and then see where it goes from there. Well, it's crossed in, and it goes out for a goal kick. Blackburn players feel like it shouldn't have been a goal kick, and to be honest, I'm not sure. It might have gone off Josh Brownhill, but overall, I'm not too sure. I didn't really see from at a good angle, so I'm not going to guess there. Well, Blackburn with the ball now. Ben Brereton Diaz has got the ball. And pushes down Ian Matson. Referee says no foul, but it's cleared away eventually and out for a Blackburn throw-in. But something more exciting for Blackburn Rovers now, although maybe it's come a little bit too late. There is still time to get one back and then see where you can go from there. It wasn't the greatest of balls into the box by Ben Brereton Diaz along the ground, and not too quick either. The ball slowly making its way from the touchline to where the managers are to the other side of the pitch. And the game is back underway. Well, here is Ryan Hedges had the ball. Sorry, I was trying to figure out who else was around to get the ball, which is why that took so long for me to say. But Burnley just taking their time. They've won a throw-in, take the pressure off a little bit. They're 2-0 up. They're going to try and waste as much time as possible. And I don't blame them, to be honest. Any team would, wouldn't they, on Derby Day? Well, Ian Matson take the free kick. Hit as far up the pitch as possible. Tries to find Ashley Barnes. But eventually there are some words being said between Kaminski and a Burnley player. I couldn't see who it was. I think it was Nathan Teller. But nothing too serious. And now Nathan Teller has got the ball. Now can Burnley maybe make it 3-0 here? Oh, it's nice by Nathan Teller. And now Josh Brownhill moves to the box. Ashley Barnes to win it. 3-0. Derby Day in Dreamland for Burnley. Blackburn Rovers falling apart. But 3-0 to Burnley. Great football by Burnley. Nathan Teller passes the ball to Josh Brownhill, and then Josh Brownhill just moves into the box, crosses the ball in. It's a low cross. Ashley Barnes, he's not really being marked. He gets past his player who is watching him, and then he just shoots. It goes into the goal. Does maybe take a little bit of deflection, but nothing too serious. And Clinton Molar's got to be doing so much better there. Josh Brownhill can just get past him so easily. But it was Daniel Ayala who got a little touch on the ball, but it didn't really affect anything. But 3 points for Burnley. And they're going top of the table. Ashley Barnes with his second goal today. He hadn't scored before today. Now he's got 2. And Blackburn Rovers fans, as I'm sure you'd imagine, no smiles on their faces. As for Burnley, they're going to be partying all night, I'm sure. What a way to go into the World Cup break as Charlie Taylor is coming on for Ian Matson. Yeah, what a way to go into the World Cup break, winning against your rivals. I predicted 1-1, and yeah, I don't think anyone could have blamed me with that first half. I think it would have looked more likely to be a 0-0, but luckily we've seen 3 goals, 3 for Burnley. Burnley fans are happy, and so yeah, it looks like they are going to come out as winners. It'd be a great ending if it ended 3-3, but, you know, I'm sure it won't now, as we are well into the final 10 minutes. Burnley fans certainly making the noise around Turf Moor. There's a free kick to Burnley. "83 minutes gone. It's Burnley 3, Blackburn 0. It's going to be crossed in by Brownhill. And missed by Ben Brereton Diaz. And then the shot by Jack Cork goes out for a corner. And to be fair, Blackburn started off the first half quite well, actually. You know, they had their first shot of the game, but then from there, they just fell apart, really. I mean, as a neutral, it's been an okay game. Luckily, we're seeing some goals. Not too many chances in the first half, although Kaminsky did make 2 saves, 2 good saves nearer to the end of the match. Nearer to the end of the first half, sorry, just as Vitinho has the ball. Crossed in. Tries to find Ashley Barnes, but Burnley fans call for handball. It's going to be a corner to Burnley. Was there a handball? I'm not too sure. There will be another corner to Burnley. Well, Ashley Barnes, he'll be looking for his hat-trick. Will he get it today? Brownhill to cross the ball into the box. Can they make it 4-0 here? And the game's just been stopped. The cross came in, but the corner's going to have to be retaken. And there is just a little bit of words exchange between Ashley Barnes and Daniel Ayala. And it's a yellow card to Ayala. In fact, yeah, Ayala, it's quite dangerous. Well, not dangerous what he did, but certainly not right what he did. He had someone's neck and just pulled him down. I couldn't really see who it was with all the bodies in the way, but certainly didn't look very pretty. And there'll be a free kick to Blackburn Rovers. Well, when Birmingham City played Blackburn, Burnley just making 2 subs, actually. Johan Goodmanson and Halil Devisoglu. Hopefully I said that correctly as well. Ashley Barnes scored 2 goals. He's coming off. Who's he coming off for? Oh, I'm not too sure, but we'll find out. But really nice first goal from him. A header from just a few yards out. Second goal, done really nicely. He's got past the person who's trying to mark him and then just slots into the corner. Gets a big hug from Vincent Kompany though. And the other goal scorer, Anas Zaori, is also coming off. And yeah, for Gudmundsson, Johan Berg Gudmundsson scored against Birmingham City. Just writing down the substitutes just as Nathan Teller is attacking. Finds Charlie Taylor, I think that was. Yes, it was. Taylor still with the ball. Defended well by Blackburn Rovers. And the ball goes into Kaminski's hands. But really, it's too late for Blackburn to get anything from this game. So just playing for pride at the moment. The Burnley goalkeeper, Juric, has got the ball now. Vitinho. Well, the ball goes out for another throw into Burnley. And I'm sure Burnley fans this day will be remembered for some time. Beating Blackburn Rovers 3-0. Last time the two teams met, it did end 2-0 to Burnley. But this is the biggest score margin which there has been in a bit of a while in this derby. Usually the game only going between 1 goal difference. But today, 3 goals is the difference. And certainly Burnley do deserve it more than Blackburn Rovers. Well, Kaminski gives the ball away to Brownhill. Brownhill passes the ball over to Teller. And there should be a free kick. Referee says no. And there will be a throw-in to Blackburn. Well, Blackburn have taken their throw-in and they do a long ball across the pitch where, they're going to try and attack. They're going to try and find something which will at least lift the spirits of their fans a little bit. Crossed in by Britton to Brereton Diaz. He's been largely out of the game today. He has had his moments, but overall Burnley have done well to isolate him. And the ball goes out of play. And there will be a Burnley throw-in. I believe it's 3 minutes of added time, is it? Well, the throw-in is going to be taken by Vitinho. And he's going to throw it as far up the pitch as possible. Just a bit of news from you in the Premier League. Aston Villa have equalised versus Brighton. As Teller tries to control the ball, but defended well by Blackburn, and then just a little bit of a scrap happens between Teller and his defender, Danny Ings, with the goal for Aston Villa from the penalty spot. Well, Cullen passes the ball, and could it be 4-0 here with Nathan Teller? Decent block by his defender. But certainly Burnley in the second half did look more confident. And certainly there were more chances, just as Ben Brereton Diaz is running with the ball now. Could he maybe get a consolation goal for Blackburn Rovers? No, really well defended by Charlie Taylor. Burnley are going to look for this clean sheet tonight, and there is just something thrown onto the pitch. Not too sure what it was, to be honest. But something was thrown. I'm not too sure what it was. Was it like a firework or something like that? They've just shown, well, full time anyway. I think a firework was set off in the stands or something. As you know, it like burst into different bits. However you describe a firework. But anyway, Burnley have won Derby Day, and by 3 goals. Yeah, it was fireworks. Yeah, and Burnley, they do go first place in the Championship. They take over Sheffield United, and they will certainly enjoy that going into the World Cup break. 2 goals from Ashley Barnes, the other from Anas Zaori, puts Burnley with the Derby Day win. As for Blackburn Rovers, they've got to have a long, hard think to themselves. What can they do next time when they play Burnley at Ewood Park? But full time at Turf Moor, Burnley fans will certainly enjoy this, and I'm sure that they will be partying into the night. And I'm sure Blackburn Rovers fans will certainly try and forget about this day as much as possible. But full time at Turf Moor, the score: Burnley 3, Blackburn Rovers 0. Well, what a match. First half, not brilliant. Certainly could have been a lot better. Quality certainly wasn't there in the first half. Defensively, didn't think it was too bad. But certainly attacking-wise, neither side really had many chances. Thomas Kaminski made 2 good saves nearer to the end, and Ashley Barnes had a big chance nearer to the start, but that didn't really matter as he scored 2 goals anyway. And Burnley with the win. Blackburn, from the first minute, they were out of the game. They struggled to have possession early on, and Burnley kept putting on pressure. They went in 0-0 at half-time, but second half, it just fell apart for them. And I'm not too sure what was said in that dressing room at half-time, but it certainly didn't work, whatever it was. As for Vincent Kompany, whatever he said worked, and fair play to Burnley. I do believe that they did deserve the win in the end. And, yeah, their fans clap the ball as you'd expect. They've just won in, the biggest game of their seasons. But full time, 3-0 to Burnley. Burnley fans, they're going to stay in Turf Moor for a little bit as Vincent Kompany fires up the fans a bit more. Overall, decent game to watch. I certainly expected more in the first half. But, what? We saw 3 goals, and it was good fun, wasn't it? Hopefully you enjoyed watching. My throat is beginning to get quite sore, so I'm going to end this in the next few minutes. But, Burnley fans, I hope that you enjoy this moment. I hope that you enjoy having the pride of Derby Day victory. And as for Blackburn fans, where'd you go from here? It's not what you would have wanted today. It's not what you were looking forward to. And really, it's not what you would have been waiting for the past 5 or so years. But Burnley, they'll take that. Ashley Barnes scoring 2 goals. He'll be pleased. and he's a big Burnley player, isn't he? You know, he has been with Burnley for some time, and he will enjoy that moment where he scored 2 against Blackburn Rovers. But that's going to be the end from me. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me if you have been watching until the end. But thank you all very much for watching. World Cup content will be coming out at some point, but I'll see you later. Goodbye.